I think the struggle is that you can't be everywhere at once. I'd very much like to be in every single place we have every day. We have now 50 units open and operating. That's just not feasible. And so it's about not having control over that is, I think, the most difficult part of being a bigger restaurant corporation. My name is Alex Smith. I'm 39 years old. I'm president of Atlas Restaurant Group, and we're projected to do more than $200 million this year in revenue.
아틀라스 레스토랑 그룹은 전국 50개의 바와 레스토랑 및 엔터테인먼트 컨셉을 갖춘 호스피탈리티 비즈니스 그룹입니다. 아틀라스는 2023년 1억 4,500만 달러 이상의 매출을 올렸고 2024년에는 2억 달러 이상을 올릴 예정입니다.
One of our founding principles is integrity of product. Whether it's the deli and you freshly shaved turkey or it's a prime steak at one of our restaurants, we always try and put the best product on the table. The biggest expense in the restaurant business is labor. Second to that is food cost. Obviously, it's been difficult because labor continues to increase as far as the cost of labor, and food cost continues to increase. Part of the reason things are so expensive is our margins are already thin as an owner-operator, so a lot of that gets passed on to the consumers. Prices go up. But obviously, labor and food in the last couple of years, especially with inflation, have been the highest cost for us.
애너폴리스에 있는 아틀라스의 가장 높은 수익을 올린 레스토랑인 차탱크는 2023년에 거의 1,600만 달러의 매출을 올렸습니다. 아틀라스의 50개 사업체는 비용을 줄이기 위해 서로의 자원을 공유합니다.
They don't share resources with talent. We can obviously plug people in where we need to help support if there's an issue. We share resources through marketing. We share resources through HR. We share resources through finance. Procurement's a big one. The same lettuce you get in the deli, the romaine, is the same romaine you get in any of our restaurants. It's the same pepper, it's the same fryer oil. The benefit is that you do have a procurement team that is doing group buying to drive bottom line to the restaurants. I was born in Timonium, Maryland, and lived in Baltimore, Maryland here the last 17 years. Both sides of my family are born and bred Baltimore people. My grandfather on my mom's side, John Padarakis, he was a commercial baker turned developer. Just a great example of how relentless hard work can beat all.
알렉스의 할아버지는 맥도날드의 주요 빵 공급업체인 H&S 소유주였으며 또한 알렉스가 첫 사업을 시작한 볼티모어의 하버 이스트 지역에서 주요 개발자이기도 했습니다.
There was a movie theater that was under construction in Harbor East, which is a development that my family's involved in. I just thought that an ice cream store would do great next to the movie theater. So I asked if there was any space available, and there was. There was a 1,100 or 1,200 square foot space right next to the theater.
알렉스는 공간을 확보하고 그곳에 하겐다즈 프랜차이즈를 오픈할 계획을 세웠습니다. 알렉스는 2007년 미니애폴리스에서 하겐다즈의 매니저, 오너 운영자 표준 교육에 참석했습니다.
I was certainly intimidated going up there as a 20-year-old and going through the Haagen-Dazs school. Essentially, you learn everything on how to run a small business. You're learning how to do payroll, you're learning how to do inventory, you're learning how to schedule, you're learning about marketing, guest reviews, you're learning how to maintain equipment, and the most important is operations. You name it, we did everything. So the day that I opened that store, I could and did run the store by myself.
알렉스는 매장을 짓기 위해 주로 세입자 개선 수당에서 나온 약 10만 달러가 필요하다고 말했습니다.
I always say this to anybody who's in the restaurant business, your second and third location are the most vital, are the most important. Because a lot of people in this business, they have a great first location, and then they try their second location, and it turns out to either not produce what they thought it was, or take you in a negative direction, and then you end up losing both. And so in this business, to get the critical mass, you have to be successful on your second and third business.
알렉스는 하겐다즈를 거의 3년 동안 관리한 후 하버 이스트에 자신의 오리지널 매장을 오픈하고 싶어 했습니다.
I saw a need in the community for daytime lunch. And so I thought, how can I monetize this?
하버 이스트 델리를 지어 2010년 5월에 오픈하려면 약 30만 달러가 필요하다고 말했습니다. 추가 TIE 하겐다즈의 현금 흐름과 그리고 그의 저축에서 돈이 나왔다고 말했습니다.
I was ringing up customers and I was making pizzas and I was taking all the deliveries and the first year or two that I opened that business, I was there every single day, open to close. So I just had the confidence to at that point that I got from Häagen-Dazs to operate that business.
알렉스는 세 번째 사업으로 고급 레스토랑을 오픈하고 싶어 했습니다.
I didn't know a ton about fine dining, and so I was like, okay, I'm going to hire the very best people that know what they're doing in the community that I knew.
2012년 8월, 알렉스는 하버 이스트 해안가에 우조 베이를 개장했습니다.
I remember working at the deli for lunch service to talk to the guests, and by 5 o'clock I was at Uzo for dinner service, and I'd work through dinner service, and I would touch every table and talk to every guest. I knew how to run every aspect of the business. And I was involved in every aspect of the business. I was involved in all the pricing, the menu changes, the day-to-day operations, everything from the lighting to the sound to the playlist to the music to the candles that were ordered. I touched every aspect of it. And I think at that time I was very confident, and I knew that if I focused on this, it'd be very difficult to fail because I'm in it. I just had a feeling of I'm on top of this.
2012년에 600만 달러의 수익을 올렸으며 2014년 10월 아틀라스 레스토랑 그룹으로 출범했습니다.
We hired a finance person, we hired an HR person, we hired a social digital media person, and we started to figure out what are the departments that we need to execute a larger plan.
사업 확장은 2017년 플로리다 보카라톤의 레스토랑을 오픈하면서였습니다.
Which is the only location that we've ever closed and abandoned the location. It was just a location mistake. I was young, I wanted to expand to South Florida. It was extremely hard to do because you just don't have bandwidth down there. It was my first big failure, but it was a learning experience, and I learned a lot from it. But Atlas today is very well organized. We probably have 40 corporate employees broken down into procurement, HR, entertainment, design and branding, marketing, and then operations. I'm heavily involved in conceptualization, designing new projects, looking at menus and spaces and figuring out what we're going to be doing in there. In addition, I run all the finance, business development, and strategic oversight of the company.
델라웨어의 빅피쉬 레스토랑 그룹의 지분을 인수하여 포트폴리오에 16개 지점을 추가했습니다.
Rehoboth is a 2-hour drive from Baltimore. So it's something in the region that we can acquire that there's synergy of brands. They're in seafood, they're in sushi. Our same distributors go to Delaware, and with group buying, we can save significant dollars.
5개 주에 걸쳐 2,700명 이상의 직원을 보유하고 있으며 대서양 중부 지역에서 독립적으로 운영되는 가장 큰 레스토랑 그룹입니다.
This is where I was born, and it's where I'll die. You know, I want to make sure that we leave it a better place.